Chapter 146 Power. Several hundred sleepers freeze, eyes fixed on the red streaked marble. The message is brutal in its simplicity. Disobey the bright lord and you vanish from the story. Sunny doesn't look at the body. He studies Harus instead, who stares past everything like the violence never happened. Hope curdles into lesson. This place isn't a court, it's a stage, and the ending is pre-written. Gunlaug's power suffocates without a raised voice. The hall resets with eerie efficiency. Guards drag. Handmaidens mop. Tables roll back. Breakfast resumes as if life wasn't ended 5 breaths ago. Sunny's appetite evaporates. He mentally writes the day off as first time losing appetite in a cafeteria. Then he takes Cassie's arm. Time to leave the scene before the scene decides to keep them. Sunny solves the puzzle. Everyone shares the same dormant core, so power comes from 2 faucets, soul essence and memories. And both faucets are bolted to Gunlaug's throne. He hunts because he owns hunters. He owns hunters because he feeds them. Tribute flows in. Shards and memories flow up. Lieutenants grow stronger, which makes more hunting possible. A closed loop, a perfect machine. By now, the host might be the strongest group of sleepers in human history, stacked at rank, but saturated to brim. Effie's warning echoes. No sleeper can defeat Gunlaug. Sunny pictures the gate skulls knocking in the wind and finally understands why they are there. Not trophies tutorials, and yet Nephis intends to break the loop anyway. The arithmetic is merciless. Gunlaug's army is too strong. The city too tuned his rhythm. Sunny imagines Nephis aiming for the impossible anyway. He tries on the speech he needs to give her. Stand down or we lose everything. And knows she won't. That's not who Changing Star is. He remembers the plan paved in her eyes. The kind that doesn't include reverse gear. So he does the next best thing. Gather everything. Faces, routines, pathways, weak seams. Every carving on a wall becomes a clue. Every drill count. A future angle. He vows never to look a handmaiden in the eye again. Those folks are stealth horror subgenre. A files that under practical life choices. Sunny turns bolder. The shadow slips under doors, glides along rafters, peeks into war rooms. He maps hunter tactics, observes guard drills, ranks artisans by who get salute. He avoids handmaidens like there are tripwires. Information piles up. Training tempos, shift rotations, which lieutenant laughs, which never blinks. The castle is a clock. He's counting ticks. Back to stone. Eyes on corners. Breath time with patrol turns. By the 8th dawn, the week of hospitality expires. Sunny and Cassie face the stained glass hall leading to the gates. Relief tastes like a cold air. At the desk, Harper flutters a nervous sparrow, ink stained, hopeful for them to stay. Sunny fakes a broke smile. No shards were out. Lord Gunlaug is kind. Harper insists. Sunny files that under. Narratives people need. Then the gates groan. Stone gives way to sky. The first breath outside tastes honest. He scans the slum sprawl and answers Cassie's sub-question. What now? Without missing a beat, we find Nephis. Appetite returns. Not for castle food, but for momentum. The city is still a maze. The serpent still coiled. But the next move is theirs again. Chapter 147 Guild Hall. Sunny and Cassie step off the stairway into the outer settlement, scanning alleys and rooftops for a tall figure in armor. The contrast hits hard. Inside the castle, people had routines. Out there, they have fear. Faces are gaunt, eyes hollow. Some pity the pair for being turned away. others smirk. The only time hope shows is when gazes drift to the white walls on the hill. Hope that will eat them alive if they chase it. Sunny clocks the truth. Monsters in the dream realm wear claws. Monsters in the real world wore polite smiles. He keeps moving, throwing out a dry plan. Follow the sounds of mayhem. Because if Changing Star is nearby, trouble usually has a soundtrack. At the very edge, a larger, sturdier hovel clings to the platform, closest to the road of white stone, closest to danger. On its roof, Nephis sits cross-legged, watching the cursed city wake. Without armor, in a rope-tied tunic, ivory skin, in a short silver hair, look otherworldly in that light. She senses movement, rises and jumps from the roof as lightly as a leaf. Sunny can't help grinning at the reunion quip. Long time no see. The moment is simple and warm. 3 threads woven back together on the cliff's lip, with the whole dark city spread below like a broken map. Inside, the lodge is austere. Cracked tables, drafty windows, carved slabs turned into walls. It's empty because no one sane lives this close to where the nightmares arrive. Sunny cracks a jab with Nephis just shrugs. After months on the rock dirt, 4 walls is luxury. A twinge of guilt hits. The castle fed him fresh meals. She camped with a tide of monsters. Cassie unwraps a safe supper with a bright smile. Here, Neph, the smallest kindness in the bleakest place. Pass hand to hand. The dynamic slots back in. Cassie the heart, Nephis the edge, Sunny the commentary. Nephis lifts a cloth, enough roasted meat to feed a line of castle diners. How? A few nights back, a big creature came off the white road. She and a handful of slum fighters brought it down. Sunny blinks, recalculates. Cassie protests. Isn't that the guard's job? And gets quiet truth. Guards defend the castle and sky. The road is everyone else's problem. No wonder the lodges near the edge are empty. If the road is where monsters come from, why live here? Nephis answers without flinching. It's quiet. The smallest smile follows. And I like it. It makes a crude kind of sense. Quiet isn't safety, it's clarity. Out here, motives don't wear gold masks. Sunny files it under. Neph logic. Half exasperated, half impressed. The 3 stand in a vast, drafty room with a pile of food earned at sword's edge and a horizon that still wants them dead. The reunion is done. The next act gathers itself. They've found the star at the edge. Now, the edge is home base. Chapter 148. Lost Harvest. Besides, what can compete with this killer view? Nephis says, and right on cue. A ghastly wail echoes across the ruins. Sunny shivers. She meant it literally. They sit on the stone floor, share roasted monster meat, and pass Cassie's blue glass bottle like it's a campfire ritual. It's the good old days. If you delete the good when they're full. Nephis fixes Sunny's with that calm, heavy look that feels pressure. What did you learn in the castle? Sunny breaks down the machine. 6 casts, hunters, pathfinders, guards, artisans, handmaidens, and the host wards. All interlock under Bright Lord's velvet face. Food distribution, shelter allotments, who fights, who crabs, who whispers. All pipelines led back to Gunlaug. Cassie adds tidbits she caught. Nephis tracks every thread, frown deepening. The summary lands like a ledger of control. Roles dress as generosity, depth disguised as safety. Fear packaged as faith. It's order, just not the kind you survive by disagreeing with. Nephis halts the lecture. 500 in the castle, maybe more in the slum. That's 1,000 total, mostly young. But where are the new sleepers from our solstice? We've only seen us. Sunny admits there's a fourth, caster living comfortably inside. Then the pattern, 15 years of ramp up dozens, then hundreds each year, until this year, 7 arrivals. The spell left 7s. Maybe the cycle reset. How does caster know? An artisan's revelation ability. She can map the general location of people you've met. He bought an answer and learned only 6 of his network got here. The head count anomaly isn't comfort. It's a question mark with teeth. Sunny lays out the loop. Gunlaug controls food. People trade him soul shards and memories. His elites get stronger. They hunt more. They bring back more shards and gear. Controls titans. Hope, fear, and calories all flow to one throne. That covers rebellion. What about murder in the night? He recounts the rite of challenge. Pageant, perfect stagecraft with a deadly ending. So he can't be overthrown, Nephis says. But why not simply kill him? Lieutenants turn on tyrants all the time. Sunny laugh is humorless. That was just his rulebook power. What about his personal power? He shudders. It's way worse. The room goes quiet. Cassie worried. Nephis sat like stone. Outside, the pale morning hardens toward noon. The ruins look ready to move. Inside, 3 decisions begin to form. What they'll risk, what they'll break, and who they'll have to become to do it. Chapter 149. Dark Diver. Effie once called Gunlaug basically immortal. Sunny explained why that wasn't exaggeration. Gunlaug's aspect isn't flashy. He breathes and moves underwater with impossible speed. Useless in the ruins, sure, unless you weaponize the sea itself. 8 years back, after the original conquerors died and the castle slid toward savagery, an outcast named Gunlaug began diving where no sane sleeper would, into the dark sea at dusk and dawn. He scavenged shards from karsh monsters and meat from leviathan leftovers, raising the horrors beneath. Mad? Absolutely, but also cunning. While others clung to walls and rules, he treated the flood like a hunting ground and came back alive again and again. The habit forged a legend, and legends turned into leverage. Sunny sketches the ritual. At dusk, Gunlaug dives from the city wall into the black. At dawn, he slips into retreating waters. 2 plunge a day, 2 coins flip with fate. The depths host things that erase courage and memory. But the outcast keeps winning. He returns with shards, with meat, with stories that grow teeth. Each haul buys more allies, more standing, more chances to dive again. The routine hardens into a pipeline of power that no one else can copy. Nephis and Sunny have seen what lurks below. Surviving it once brands you. Doing it daily? That rewrites the balance. One morning, the current throws Gunlaug atop a dying leviathan. Not dead, yet. Carrion eaters will come. He draws a knife and starts cutting meat off bone. Then the chance strikes. The leviathan expires while his blade is in it. The spell counts the kill reward. A memory wanders golden armor like a liquid metal, beyond human tier. Suddenly, the outcast wears transcendence. Back in the city, Gunlaug gathers allies, removes rivals, becomes the Bright Lord. Skulls on the chains above the gate make the point permanent. What does the armor do? Rumor says it crushes minds, but Sunny learned the twist. The psychic pressure only grips you when you meet your own reflection in that featureless visor. Cassie, who can't see it, felt nothing. For once, her curse was a shield. The rest, they crumble under a stare that turns fear into obedience, coupled with monopoly on food, shards, and memories. The golden armor finishes the cage. Nephis asks for the weak points. Sunny's answer is a shrug and a shiver. There aren't openings to exploit. This is why Effie called him immortal. Sunny steels himself to argue for survival and vengeance. Then Nephis drops a quiet detonation. She found something while they were gone. There is a gateway after all. Stunned silence. If an exit exists, why hasn't anyone used it? Where could it hide from a city of desperate minds? Nephis turns to the window, voice flat. Where do you think? In the Crimson Spire. The room tilts. Hope, fear, ambition. Everything reroutes toward that coral colossus. If the door home sits in the tower that bleeds into the world, the only path is forward, through Gunlaug's territory, past the labyrinth sea, under a sky that birthed monsters. Plans begin to coalesce, dangerous as sparks near dry tinder. Chapter 150. Hunting Party. The Crimson Spire dominates the horizon, a needle of doom pinning the forgotten shore to the sky. It's the centerpiece of Cassie's vision and the most likely place for the gateway, exactly where no one sane goes. Old guidance echoes. In the lands without a citadel, look near the most prominent landmark. Check. The spire is the landmark, an axis from earth to heaven, a promise that freedom sits right where death lives. Sunny clocks the irony. Everyone in the bright castle chooses to live beside monsters rather than step inside that tower. That implication lands heavy. Whatever guards the gateway is worse than the city's daily horrors. The room cools. The spire's silhouette seems to drink the light. A single word turns the air colder. A fallen terror. One class above tyrants. 6 soul cores. In a reputation for turning hunter parties into memorials. The math is cruel. No number of sleepers can beat it. Survival rate is practically zero. The thought of staring daily at the road home, guarded by impossible, is its own punishment. The Tower of Dust feels emptier by association. Sanity trades when hope is visible but unreachable. History sharpens the edge. Expedition by Bright Castle's first ruler annihilated. The last original cohort destroyed. After that, no more tries. Acceptance calcifies into culture. Don't climb the spire. Build a life under its shadow. Silence stretches, with facts in place. Fantasy is over. The trio faces the long game. Nephis breaks it first. Form a hunting party. Not a charge at the spire, but a path to competence, gear, and real leverage. The ground rules. No. Going blind into the dark city, map routes, learn rhythms, survive small to earn the right to try big. It's the classic answer to impossible bosses. Level up the team. The concept feels sane, ambitious without being suicidal, and it recenters the story on agency, not despair. A good plan needs a guide. Nephis insists on recruiting a pathfinder, someone who knows the dark city's arteries, safe houses, and the difference between quiet and too quiet. Sunny unloads a marathon intel dump gathered in the bright castle. Names, aspects, abilities, flaws, grudges, agendas. One notorious pathfinder stands out. Viciously effective, but a degenerate gambler who burns shards at Aiko's den and strong-arms anyone who objects. Rumors suggest a recent mess started because he wanted to hunt something big to pay debts. Powerful but radioactive. The takeaway, expertise exists, but at a cost and with strings. Nephis finally answers the core question. Yes, worthy pathfinders already lead their own crews, except one. Convincing her won't be easy. The reveal clicks the arc into place. Effie, reputation, grit, in the kind of field sense they need to stay alive long enough to matter. The emotional vector pivots from we are trapped to we're building something. The spire still looms. The fallen Taro still reigns. But there's a roadmap. Recruit Effie, gather resources, test runs to the Dark City, escalate carefully. Hope returns not as a miracle, but as a logistics.